and you hear statements like, I never knew, or this is who you are. 5 years down the line, and you're wondering, this person is like a stranger to you. So how do we get guided to grasp the the dynamics of helping you know the person you're getting along with, you're connecting to? In terms of relationship, it's a very massive industry. It's quite wide to tell the real person. Later on, as we move around, we'll tune into the crowd and then open the space, people to fire questions, and then different ideas and comments. I just wanted to bring it on to the crowd. Here we're having Pastor Remy. Pastor Remy, thanks for coming by and honoring our invitation on this crew coming over Destiny Hub.
Pleasure is mine.
Wonderful. And then we're having also our lawyer, Pauline Sharon. Also, thanks for coming and honoring our invitation. And then we're having the crowd who will also be participating. Everyone here is going to be participating. We would like to catch your views. And then also the other side, those that are connected to the link. Now, Pastor Remy, how do you... a lot of people are cultivating the journey of locating a partner. Some people are thinking like, okay, and somebody say there are different definitions of marriage. One meeting where people asked, how do you define a marriage? If all this is getting to the other end road of marriage, how do you define? Then you could hear people say, well, marriage is that institution where you get in with one door, one entrance. There's no exit. Others are saying this is an institution of life sentence. You are sentenced to life. There's no looking elsewhere. And different people have different perspectives. We're getting confused. Also, love language. People define different people have different love languages. They always say that there are 5 different types of love languages, whereby others they understand the language of presence. You date with somebody, you move to the road to the courtship, and then with you know one thing, complimenting the person. And then the other person doesn't understand, whenever you compliment, he's not receiving love. All he knows is present. You're not bringing any present, but you're busy complimenting. Then others, you're busy giving presents, but not complimenting. And to them, they're not seeing love. So there's a lot of confusion amidst people. What's your take in this kind of situation?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
God bless you and all the members that are here. It's a pleasure yet again to be here and to be discussing such a very sensitive issue and topic of life. As you began, you said that love is an art, but allow me also to add that it has also a science in it.
Okay.
So you could say love, it's an art and science that everyone gets involved in.
Mm-hmm.
So you realize that those who know the art, sometimes becomes hard for them to do the science of it. Because love does not only stop at those languages, because such languages also, they are derived from a certain perspective. What I would call the scientific part of love. Because love, most of the times, that's what we call the emotional fulfillment. As a matter of fact, it's not the things that we do, but until when you know how to reach the emotional depth of your partner, that's when you are now going to understand how to relate with this person. But I would also want to say that love is not created by man. Love is a language of God. And when we talk of God, now we are referring the spiritual realm, because they say man is a spirit that has a soul and lives in the body. So when you just use the body to exercise and practice love, you are going to live out the soul and also the spirit, where the soul has the faculty of the emotions, the intellect, and also the will. These things need to come together in order for you to bring the whole package called love. So I would say, as we go on discussing, that when we want to look at love, we must first of all go to the author of the love, who is God. The Bible says, for God so loved the world. By talking about the world, it does not come out with specifics. So it's like saying God has created love for each and everything. There are people who appreciate animals, and someone says, I love my cat. Then someone will say, I love my plant. Then someone will say, I love so and so. I love people. But now when we come, there's that specific love of man, the woman, whereby the Bible says that Adam, God gave him the first task of naming each and every creation that was created of God. So, of course, when he was creating, when he was naming, he was like creating. What he was seeing, he was naming something according to what he was seeing in it. That's why you find a young man sees very many people, but among them, he has one that has a specific name. So he names all creation, but he realizes that there was a dimension that all this creation wouldn't reach. So he said, but Lord, you've given me to name all this, but I don't see that partner that suits me. Who's that partner? He was not looking at strength. He was not looking at beauty. Because human beings, by the way, they are not the most beautiful things. There are things that are really beautiful. You look at this bird, and it's really well endowed. See? But there's something that is far-reaching about love, because the source is God. So God does what we call the matching. The Bible says, and God made him to sleep. I always challenge people at our church. Our church is called Glorious Shelter Church. I challenge them that, hey girls, please pray until when your husband to be sleeps. Because if he does not sleep, he will be looking around all the time.
Okay.
So they must do some prayer to make them sleep, so that she's gotten from the side.
Yeah.
When he wakes up, you will only be the only bean in the soup.
Hang on, hold it there. That is Pastor Remy. I just wanted to, because there is a big confusion under the world.
Yes.
Not just in Uganda, not in Africa, but all continents are experiencing it, the entire world.
Yes.
People, I want to know, what is it that people are looking for? They're looking for this love. When they're looking for love, what is it that they are really looking for? Because we are seeing confusion in homes, we're seeing people in universities, in high schools, everybody's, pursuing love, and in their own way. I've always told the people that never rush to call somebody your best friend.
Yes.
Never rush to call people your best friend, because whenever you are falling in love, then there must be friendship or love connection. Yes. But never rush to call somebody your best friend, not until I think you give room to hard times to introduce them. Let the hard times around you introduce the best friend to you. But now, in this era, what is perturbing the world when it comes to choosing a right partner?
I think one of the things that have really chipped in humanity is what we call materialism. Today people don't really love. You find someone says, hey, I've fallen in love with so-and-so. And someone is going to ask,
they're pursuing materialism?
yes, to have a future in them. And in the future they're really talking about, it's not them being together, but the things that would fetch out of, committing themselves into that relationship. Yet relationship begins with God. It has to be God. It's God who does the matchmaking.
Okay.
Personally, I was in courtship for 5 years, something that is not easy to be, experienced in this.
Let me ask you, hold on there.
Yes.
Is it okay to date somebody for long, as far as stretching to 5 years, 8 years, 9 years? What would be the advice in this era?
You see, the problem again today is that we are trying to deal with things that are of old,
Yes.
using the current mind. the challenges that are really at hand today. One is information, and there's what we call the cultures are crossing each other. There's a new culture, a new breed of culture that is being cultivated internationally that people call, you know, the in culture. Someone said that culture confusion began in the 80s. That was when hip hop came in. That's when guys like Tupac Shakur, people began to pull down their pants, you know, bandanas on the head.
On one thing, when it comes to, let me first ask you, Pauline, when it comes to this, if somebody is in a relationship, and he's in a relationship, then things go sour, and that relationship doesn't seem to work out, when things are falling apart, then remember, as this person was in a relationship, he was having 7 more people who were pursuing, and he couldn't give them a chance. And then there's this one relationship that's been ongoing for about a year, and things have, you know, hit the wall. And if they call it quits, how long would you advise this person to take to engage into another relationship? Would he select out of the 7 immediately to quench the pain, or what would be your advice? Because some people, they don't want to linger with pain. You know, when there are other candidates that are on standby, there are 7, and this guy, you know, and I don't know whether also these 7 guys could be the contribution of this lady not looking at her relationship keenly, you know, and holding on to it. You would say, after all, whenever he looks aside, there are other 7 guys this side, and this one is like, she's like doing a mercy, you know, being just, you know. What do you think about that?
According to me, because, you know, different, okay, there is a way we do things differently, but I could advise someone, if one relationship or the relationship you're in, if it is not going on well, I would really advise someone to first give herself or himself a break, because usually these days in our generation, people, when they get disappointed, sometimes they want to, they get these other guys, the way you're saying, they will get those guys and use them to feel comfortable, or to make them feel,
To quench the pain.
yes, to quench the pain.
Painkillers.
Yes. So in this process, they don't love them actually, but they're in love, or they're using them because of what is happening in their lives. And in this, I don't think it really helps if you're someone who is really determined to have a healthy relationship. So I would at least advise someone who is undergoing such a situation, at least to first pause for a break of at least a year, 2, or even more than that if you feel you're okay with it. And in this time, I think in this time you've really healed, and you can take proper decisions.
Thank you so much. Let me turn to the crowd a little bit. How long must someone wait after breaking the relationship? What do you guys think? How long must someone wait after breaking the relationship? Usually, especially when there are other guys that are lingering around on standby. How long must that person wait? Yes, yes.
Actually,
Your name again?
John,
Yes, Joan. What do you think?
personally, I think it depends on the relationship, the previous relationship. Because there are some relationships that are just too toxic and you really need to heal. That's when you can take a year or something. And then there are relationships that you both come to terms and then you're like, this is not going to work out, so let's serve each other's time, and you get done. So when it comes to such relationships, your heart and mind are not tormented so much, so it's easy for you to find yourself again and prepare yourself all over again and love yourself all over again completely, to let another person to come in. So in a period of 2, 3, 4 months, you can be back into even a better relationship.
Okay, he says 3 months. Let me look at gender balance. Guys, what do you think? How long must you jump into take for you to jump into another relationship? What do you think?
Personally, okay, I don't know, but probably depending on how toxic the relationship was. Like my sister said, 6 months would be ideal. Okay, 6 months and above, depending on how you are affected by the previous relationship. So, yeah.
Okay, the other one said 3 months, this one says at least 6 and above. Sir, what do you think would be the appropriate time for someone to engage into another relationship after coming out of one?
I think in relationships, everyone, maybe if it has reached the point that you have to break up, everyone has a different experience based on the relationship. So, in my opinion, I would say you take as much time as you need. I wouldn't give it a time frame, because before you go into the next relationship, the first thing you have to do is love yourself before you can love someone else. So until you reach that point, I think it's better to stay by yourself until you really get to that point that you're ready to love someone else.
What would you say if you're that person in coming out of that relationship after breaking away, and then there's 7 other ladies that have been on your neck online, very presentable, well shaped, appealing, what do you do? Will you still turn, not look at those?
Well, it's challenging. I'd say it's challenging for men more than women to resist relationships, or it might not even be a relationship, but engagements with maybe a beautiful woman or something. Women take the decision easy, I don't know why, but men can find it a bit confusing. It's like a lion in the middle of so many antelopes,
Yes.
and you're failing to choose which one
To go for.
to go for. But I mean, like I said, you need to first give time to yourself to heal until you get back to. Otherwise, you're going to get confused all the way.
Thanks so much. Now, listen, guys, there's something that I want to throw back to all of you and then catch your comments. One, there was a scenario, and this scenario, we're in a party somewhere, in a crowd of people having fun, and then all of a sudden, there's this one particular couple that came by, and then the gentleman left his phone on table and then went for a short call. When he went for a short call, all of a sudden, after going to ease himself on his way back, when he was away, the phone began ringing. So when the phone was ringing, the wife picked it. After the wife picking, he wanted actually to see maybe it would be an important, call or something. So, this is my husband. So he picks the phone, and then, but he had been warned, some time back that he shouldn't tamper with the husband's phone. So when the husband was sneaking back in his way, when he popped out coming back, the woman panicked to put back the phone. But in that panic, the phone slid and then fell on the ground. And then the screen kind of, got shattered. Now, when the man arrived, picked the phone, and yelled at the woman, gave her a hot slap, and then she had glasses on, the glasses split in pieces, and told her, I told you never to touch my phone. And why would you dare touch my phone? And then he said, you must pay this phone, but I need a new phone. Now see what you've gotten this mess into. If you had left my phone there, now my phone is spoiled, I need a new. Lord,